What's the problem with new photographers starting off cheap? I mean, is there anything wrong with that? We'll have a chat about that. We're also going to have an open mic Q&A where you can call in and talk to me live, or you can just drop a comment if you prefer, and we'll talk about your week, and you can ask me any business questions you have. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Daryl Stringer. My background is that I ran a photography business for 17 years, and for the past 11 years, I've been a photo and video business coach where I help amazing people build strong, viable businesses. And that's what I want to help you with today. And by the way, if you're watching this later on, this is a live show where I'm trying to coordinate everything that's going on and pressing buttons and hoping everything works. So it might look less than 100% polished, but it is 100% authentic because there's no opportunity for a second take or to edit out my mistakes when you're doing a live show. All right, to get things started, let's kick off with a segment that I call... Whoops, let's go with that one then. We'll do it here. There we go. This week. I think it's great to hear of other photographers who are doing well, even if it was only a moment or one single client. So did you have a win this week or any time in the past month or more? I want to hear from you. So please drop your comment and share your win. I'll start things off. My wins this week, I've just had great conversations with photographers who have been talking about how their business has improved from where it was before they started working with me. Their average order values are up, while other photographers are getting new websites built and they're looking great. Others are now doing more social media posts. So stuff is happening. It's really encouraging for me to see that. So that's a win for me. So please drop a comment if you've had a recent win. I'd love to hear from you. And on the flip side, let's have a look at client breakups. Did you break up with a client this week? Or have you had a breakup anytime recently? We've all lost clients or missed out on a client at some point. So drop a comment in here. We'd love to hear your story. So let's hear what you've got. Did you make a mistake? Did they ghost you? What happened for you this week? If you've got a client breakup story, drop it in the comments. I'm just having a quick check here and here. I'm not seeing any comments just yet, but that's okay. We can move on. So while we're waiting for that, if you'd like to talk with me about business coaching and see if it's a good fit for you, feel free to schedule a Zoom call with me. I'd love to have a chat, just answer any questions that you've got about that. All right. Let's move on to our next segment.
It's time for open mic Q&A. Drop a comment or call me live today.
So what this is an open mic question and answer time where you can call in and ask me any business related questions that you have. So with this segment, you're welcome to leave a comment on whatever platform you are on right now. But if you're joining me live, you can call in like a radio show or a TV interview. I've got a link there, buildaphtographybusiness.com/live. If you go there, you can click on the link to talk to me here in the studio. You can go with your webcam on or off, whatever works for you. So feel free to jump on there. While I'm waiting to see if anyone wants to have a chat, I'm going to jump into our next segment.
It's time for a coaching session.
So I'd like to talk through something that I saw in an online group today or recently, and that is, why do some photographers, the seasoned ones, frown down upon beginner photographers who have a lower pricing, who are trying to get their foot in the door? I mean, these newbies need to start somewhere. Now, there's two things going on here. Firstly, there's the issue of experienced photographers being cranky at new photographers who are crazy cheap. And secondly, there's the issue of why new photographers make the decision to go cheap when getting started. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, so drop a comment and I'll respond. And you're welcome to join me live for a Q&A in just a moment, but let's start with the first one. Why are experienced photographers disappointed or even hostile towards new cheap photographers? And I think a lot of it stems from the idea that low-cost photographers set expectations within the industry of what prices are appropriate. So if clients in your industry are seeing photographers for $100, then some clients are going to assume that you should be able to charge $100 as well. And if there are a lot of photographers offering $100 photo shoots, then that puts downward pressure on prices across the industry and can become an expectation. Now, if photographers could still make a profit doing $100 photo shoots, then this is not really an issue. It's like there are $30,000 new cars and there are $300,000 new cars, and both companies are profitable and able to exist long term. It's viable pricing. The problem for a lot of photographers is that those $100 photo shoots are not viable. So as a business model, they're just not viable. It can't work out. So that then gets us to the second point, and that is, why do new photographers make the decision to go cheap when getting started? Now, the first reason is that they want new clients and think that they'll only get new clients if they're cheap. And if they aren't that good at what they do, or they don't offer good customer service, or they don't do good marketing, then they're probably right. The only way a business like that can get new cheap clients is if they're cheap. The second reason is that they have no idea how much it costs to operate a viable business. They underestimate their expenses and they don't realize that they cannot ever have a viable business when they're only charging $100 per shoot, or whatever is the equivalent in the industry that that you're working in as a photographer. And honestly, I think a lot of this can be explained by the Dunning-Kruger effect. So this is the idea that when people first start doing something, they assume they're amazingly good at this thing they do, whatever it is. And then once they get further down the line, then they learn just how difficult it is, and their self-confidence drops right off, at least until their competence starts to improve, as we can see here on this graph, where it rises confidence at the start, then dips off, and then starts to improve a bit again later on. So in terms of what we do, people start doing photography because they assume it's quick and easy, and they price accordingly. Back in the old days, we used to at least need to pay for film and processing, and today we don't even need that. So perceived costs are quite low. Later on, they learn how expensive being a photo and video business owner is, and that's when they realize that they need to increase their rates. So how do you fix this? How do you know where to price your services when you're getting started as a photographer or a videographer? Basically, you need to know your numbers and exactly what it costs you in terms of time and other expenses. And most photographers don't have a clue. They look at what everyone is charging and they come up with a lower number, and that's it. There's no assessment. There's no, is this sustainable for me as a business if I'm doing 3 shoots per day? But if you want to price yourself right, that's what you do need to know. So moving on to the third reason for why new photographers go cheap, and I think this is implied in the original question, is they decide to start off cheap, but they have this idea that they'll put their prices up later on once they're established. And that's a bad move. Here's why I think that's a bad move. If you attract clients that hire you because you do $100 photo shoots, will they stay with you when you increase that rate to $250 in a year from now? They probably won't, because as soon as you do that, they'll switch to the new photographer on the scene who is doing shoots for $99 or something like that. So I think this is really important. We need to get a handle on this. Starting off cheap and then hoping clients will stay with you doesn't work, because running a business is more expensive than you think, and it's not going to help you long term because you attract the wrong type of client. The client you want is one who hires you because they love your work, they love your customer service, and they'd hire you almost regardless of what you charge. So the right way to do this is to learn how expensive and how much time it takes to deliver a good photo or video service, and price yourself appropriately so you have a viable business from day one. It's also good for the industry, and being good to the industry is, in my view, a good thing. But even if you're 100% selfish and you don't care about the industry, then you still don't want to go too cheap, because you won't have a business for long if you do. So now it's over to you. Do you have any questions or comments about this? Did you start off cheap when you first started as a photo or video pro? Do you think low-cost photographers negatively impact upon the industry as a whole? Let's go back to the Q&A.
It's time for open mic Q&A. Drop a comment or comment live today.
All right, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, or if you've got any questions for me, drop them in the comments, or if you're watching live, you're welcome to join me in the studio if you want. So if you want to join me live, feel free to jump on in. Let me just have a look here. Got a comment here. Is it not viable to charge low rates to get some experience, then as you understand what's going on, to raise rates? Look, I would say no. I would think if you want to get some experience, I think what you do is you work on developing that experience away from your clients, and you learn how to do it before you jump in. So for example, if you want to learn, for example, how to do, maybe you're doing sports photography, okay? Maybe then you spend time simply shooting sports before you start going out into the world to try and promote that service. If you're doing weddings, maybe you can shoot some weddings for some friends or people before you start going out there and thinking, oh, look, I'll just start off at, you know, $300 to get a wedding to get some experience. So I would actually start learn your craft before you go out there and start offering out to people. Another comment here, charging a professional rate for new ability is kind of whack. Again, I'm not so sure. I think you learn the craft. It's like, you know, people in other professional fields can't go out and do their thing as for, let's say, maybe as a lawyer or an accountant or some kind of service like that. They learn their craft first. So I think that's what we do, is we learn our craft, then we go out and we charge rates that are viable. This doesn't mean that you're charging equivalent rates to the established pros who, you know, maybe they've been in it for a long time and they're, you know, much higher. So maybe they're at maybe $5,000, but you can still come in and be viable at $900 instead of trying to be the $100 photographer. So it's just simply trying to learn your craft first, I think, before jumping in. A comment here, I'll just read out from Instagram because I can't share the Instagram comments in here. Kirsty says, I accidentally started cheap because the area I was living in was far cheaper than the area I moved to. Yeah, that happens. We can make mistakes with pricing. I started off far too cheap as well. I didn't understand what I was doing back then either. So what I'm trying to say now is, from my experience, I've learned, hopefully, that it's much better to price yourself appropriately. Again, we don't have to be equivalent to the established, you know, super photographers, but we can still be doing, we can be getting good shots in there. Getting some good experience away from clients before we start going out there as well. Comment here, plus I need to get a portfolio. Look, I think that would be the place to start, is work on that portfolio and build strength there. Right, so maybe it's again shooting with friends and family before you start going out to your dream clients and reaching out to them. Get that portfolio done. That's going to give you that experience, so that when you do go out to those ideal clients, you've got strong work that you can show. You're confident in your capabilities, and you can go in going, you know, I'm worth X amount, whatever that is for the industry you work in, rather than thinking I'm just going to go in cheap because I don't have the experience with this just yet. Any other comments? Not seeing anything just yet. So let me just jump on here. We'll go this one. All right, so that's it then for today's show. Thank you for those who joined in. I hope you got something out of that, and I hope to see you here at the same time next week. I'm doing the show every week at this particular session time, depending on where you are. So we'll see you next week.
Welcome to